What is meant by the waning of immunity after COVID-19 vaccination? Before that, we need to break it into two important parts that we must understand. What is vaccine and what does it mean by waning immunity? Let's dive into the first part, vaccine. Each virus and bacterium trigger a unique response in the immune system involving a specific set of cells in the blood, in the bone marrow and all over the body called T cells, B cells, among others. Vaccines boost the immune system and create a memory in the body for a certain disease without actually causing it. Most vaccines include a virus that has been severely weakened or inactivated. This is called the antigen. When a person is given the vaccine, the immune system recognizes the antigen as foreign. Antibodies are proteins that aid in the killing of viruses and bacteria. Later, if the person comes into contact with the actual infectious virus or bacterium, the immune system will remember it. It will then develop the appropriate antibodies and activate the appropriate immune cells in order to eliminate the virus or bacteria. Immunity lasts for years and in certain cases, a lifetime. The amount of time varies depending on the disease and the vaccination. Immunity gained by vaccination protects not just the immunized individual, but also the community's unvaccinated members. This community immunity can only work if enough people are vaccinated. Now we know about what a vaccine is, we'll proceed with what waning immunity actually means. To start off, waning immunity can be simply defined as the loss of protective antibodies over time. After an infection or vaccination, your body continues to build up its immunological army after an illness or vaccine in case the invader is still hiding in your veins. For a period of time, B cells continue to secrete and even improve virus-specific antibodies. But when they are not in contact with the attacker for an extended length of time, their production slows down and the cells and proteins die off. Imagine the B cells and T cells act as troops combating an infection, whereas antibodies act as bullets fired by B cells. When an intruder is no longer there, it makes little sense for the immune system to continue firing bullets. When your antibody levels drop, a tiny fraction of B and T cells remain as memory cells, which can persist for months, years, or even decades. These cells can quickly ramp up your immune response if the virus reappears. However, if they do not come into contact with the virus again, they will ultimately die and your immunity will deteriorate more. Now that we have gone through the important elements, we can now tackle the question, what does it mean by the waning of immunity after COVID-19 vaccination? About 6 to 8 months after your second jab of Pfizer or Moderna, your antibody levels start to fall and scientists have found your likelihood of getting a breakthrough infection rises, though you're still mostly protected from severe disease and death. This is the start of waning immunity in COVID-19 vaccines. If you have a very high level of antibodies, they'll wipe out the virus before an infection can even take hold and you won't experience any symptoms. If your antibodies wane a little, it may take a bit longer for your immune system to wipe the virus out, but the disease will be relatively short and mild. With this context in mind, studies seem to suggest a modest waning in protection against infection over time. However, the primary objective of COVID-19 vaccines is to protect against severe illness rather than infection. So, how is COVID-19 vaccine-induced immunity holding up? Taking the words from an immunologist, things wane. Neutralizing antibodies might not have much staying power. Levels of these molecules typically shoot up after vaccination, then quickly taper off months later. That's just how vaccines work. But cellular immune responses are longer lasting, and this is what's going to protect you from the disease. In a nutshell, circulating antibodies may be dropping, but your immune system is able to jump into action once again.